That's terribly unprofessional of me.
It caught me totally by surprise. Excellent
well, you
stuff.
know, that's my brand of humor.
And the home of the brave.
Game on!
Welcome to episode 36 of the Hit the Deck podcast, where we talk deck hockey, street hockey, ball hockey. It's hockey in sneakers. Oh, I am officially happy that it is officially the Christmas season. I know I've talked in the past about how celebrating prematurely bothers me. It is no longer premature. My wife can attest on Thanksgiving when Santa came at the end of the parade, I was bouncing and I was saying, "It's Santa, it's Santa, hi Santa." And she looked at me very strangely indeed for a 36-year-old man, but I was happy, and here we are. How are you, James?
Playing hurt tonight, but I'm doing all right. But speaking of the Christmas spirit, I'm 38, and I was jumping up and down, being excited, seeing Santa Claus too. So I think we're in the right here.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for that affirmation, James.
Because as the Christmas song says, it's from kids from 1 to 92. So we have a few years left, I hope.
I would certainly hope so. And I also appreciate you hockeying up and playing hurt here on the podcast.
Well, yeah, man, I can't let you down. So, but I'm
you never
sure a lot
do.
of people, much appreciated, nor do you. But I'm sure people would probably want to hear Julia take over. But in the interim, she's going to have to take me out for that. So.
Sadly, she is asleep and should remain so until, well, she should remain so until 6:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. But realistically, hopefully at least 5.
Okay. Wow. God bless. But yeah, just fighting a little sinus infection, which I think I had one back in May too. But,
oh, no.
Yeah, I'm on medication, so if I'm a bit loopy or wacko, I apologize.
I understand.
Well, more so than normal, let's just say.
Well, right. That's all right. If you're a little wacky or loopy, it'll just make the podcast that much more entertaining.
There you go. So, but thanks for asking, and I apologize for the long-winded answer. But besides being in a Christmassy spirit, how are you doing?
I am well, and that's not to say that we do not already have an entertaining podcast lined up for you, because, in fact, we do. And you know what? Rather than just talk about how we are all night, why don't we get right into it? So we might as well start in the traditional manner. You know, Christmas is a very traditional season, so let us observe our tradition of opening up with the starting lineup. And for tonight's starting lineup, in goal, I am your American Rhino, number 35, Gary McComiskey. And of course, I'm trying to think of a word that will describe you as sticking with it, even though you're not at 100%.
Can I just introduce myself?
Yeah, okay. And the guy that I talk to on this show.
On defense, number 4, I'm James Sajazi, and back with us again this week.
Robert Meehan, number 73, winger for Top Shelf.
Jason Shire, number 24, winger for Top Shelf.
Gentlemen, it is a pleasure, a true, sincere pleasure to have you back on the podcast, and I would love to get right back into part 2 of our interview with you guys. And if you can hold that thought for just 1 second, I am going to ask James, this James right here, if you would be so very kind as to tell us what is on deck for this podcast tonight.
Would be happy to. MOFO interview part B. Jason and Rob are back with some more very interesting facts and perks to finish up our conversation about the Great Deck Hockey League MOFO. Take notes if you like. The NHL's newest golden boy. Back in Hit the Deck 29, the American Rhino and I shared a hockey news article about what owner Bill Foley was going to name his new franchise. Well, on November 22nd, Mr. Foley officially introduced the Vegas Golden Knights to the world. Gary and I weigh in on what we think about the Golden Knights name and colors, plus we want to hear your thoughts too. And what do we play for? The LIQ just went through a very long drought of not playing. Thanks a lot, Mother Nature. But we finally got back out there the first 2 Saturdays of November and Thanksgiving weekend. We were all a bit rusty during our first 3 games after not playing in 2 months. However, I played like I was a Model T left out to rot in someone's forgotten field and owe my teammates an apology for the November 5th contests. And that's what's on deck.
Thank you, James.
You're welcome, sir.
And thank you, gentlemen, for holding on. Now, we would so very much like to jump right back into that conversation. So, in case you missed it last week, previously on the Hit the Deck podcast.
And we have 2 very special guests tonight, Jason and Rob from the DEK Hockey League MOFO, their team being Top Shelf.
What makes it most awesome is the rink itself is pretty great. What makes it special for me is, you win together, you lose together, you drink beers together afterwards.
We were very impressed by the play and the camaraderie.
I like that it's professionally run, though. You feel like they got your back or whatever. If somebody gets too aggressive, they're going to call a penalty.
There's a bike polo group that plays there, if anyone's in the bike polo.
I didn't know that was a sport.
Why don't we just do a long 20-game season, single elimination playoffs?
My dad slept with his mom.
Your dad isn't JT's biological father.
I find everybody wants to play a lot, but after the first period, everyone needs their rest. So, no one is as sensitive to climate change as the goaltender in a hockey league is.
And now, the conclusion.
So as you guys were saying, too, that games are mainly played on Saturdays. And I was just looking on the website that there seem to be few Sunday through Wednesday night games. Are they scheduled, part of your schedule, or are they makeup games?
No, we have the Tuesday, Wednesday night games in the spring and summer. They're scheduled league games as part of the regular schedule with the Saturday afternoon games.
Okay.
What happens with the Sunday mornings, we'll tend to add that to the schedule later in the year if we need to have extra sort of makeup games, or when it starts getting too dark to have that weeknight game.
Right.
Like late in August and September, so they'll pick up and they'll put the Sunday morning game in. The reason why we don't play more games on Sunday through the afternoon is there's another league called BTSH, and they have their league that runs a sort of similar 20-game schedule through the spring and summer, and that ends in the fall. And they play Sunday afternoons, and there's many of the players in that league play in MOFO as well. So there's always that conflict of can't play both places at once because it's in 2 different areas. So teams tend to defer to one league over the other, and you don't want to have both league games scheduled the same day if they can help it. So
Sure.
we're trying, and that's another way the league tries to accommodate people and teams as best they can, while still trying to keep and adhere to a structured schedule of some sort. So it's not just craziness and you don't know when you're playing.
So is that rink pretty much booked all day on Saturday?
Yeah, it's booked. There's a long time pickup street hockey league called 2BHL, the Two Bridges Hockey League.
Oh, cool.
And the organizer there has been doing it for a long time. Great guy. His name's Andrew. If you're looking up on Yahoo Groups, 2BHL, you'll find the Street Hockey League. Send an email to him. It's invite only. So each Wednesday he'll send an email out saying who wants to play this week. The first 20 people to respond and say, hey, they're coming, can play. If he gets up to 30 people, he'll set up 2 games, early game and a late game. And their scrimmage runs from about 10 o'clock in the morning to 1 p.m.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But you can see just one thing to kind of kick in and interject that one thing, I guess, is dependent on the city on, but you can see it's quite booked. It's a great rank. It's really built hardcore for hockey. If Manhattan saw fit within their parks department budget to add a single additional hockey rink, a deck hockey rink, just the same as MOFO, maybe obviously in a different area of the city, I don't think anybody would complain, because I like, our league since I joined, it's basically doubled in size. It hasn't been that long, like 5 years or whatever it is not that long of a time. There's clearly a demand out there. I think every single person from Canada who comes to New York is always looking for a place to play. So, I don't know who's getting this podcast, but might flee to the Parks Department, see fit to add another rink.
Sounds good to us.
With Mayor de Blasio, we could.
Yeah.
But we also have a lot of people too that in this league, like myself and a number of other people. We have started to have a conversation amongst ourselves about, what can we do to try and make the city aware of what we need, not just elsewhere, but also just down here at this rink. I mean, it's been here a while. It can use some updating. While it's a great place to play right now, a few spots on the boards are damaged. It would be great if we could get, a new set of boards. Some people want to repave. I'm like, whatever we can do. And some of us were even willing to donate our own money and our own time
to
try and make this happen. It's been a little bit of a process as we try and learn and educate ourselves in terms of figuring out who to talk to and how to kind of get started. I think just once we get it started, I think it's going to snowball and it'll go really well. And to Jason's point, it would be great to have another place to add. I mean, look at how many soccer, softball, multi-purpose, also basketball courts, tennis courts, everything else. Yet we have 2-3 hockey rinks, maybe. I mean, because one's all the way up on 145th Street.
Mm-hmm.
There's one on 96th and 1st, and there's our facility downtown in Two Bridges.
Yeah.
And
there you go.
You go out to the outer boroughs and start going really far, but I think just in terms of Manhattan, I know it's a small island and property is really valuable, and the Parks Department doesn't have tons of it, but I mean, we're going to be losing a facility on 42nd Street and First Avenue, which is just an open paved rink with fence, no boards or anything, but they did paint hockey lines on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there's a roller group that was using it, and the Parks Department gave up the land to the UN, and the UN is going to be building a building there in exchange for having a sliver of land behind the UN for a bike trail, which, hey, the bike trail, and that's great because the East River really lacks any kind of running, walking path in that area, but the idea that we were going to be losing such a large parcel and losing yet another place to play hockey. We were playing our Thursday night summer pickup group plays there, which I organized with another gentleman who plays in the MOFO League, and we just have always wanted to play on Thursday nights. Just no league, no real organization, just a Yahoo group. Hey, join the group, say you're coming, and that's it. We've had to buy permits recently because of the demand for facility space, and I've just donated the permit time. It was a couple $100, and I'm in real estate, so and I've appreciated how much I've benefited from the hockey community of teammates and everyone. I've actually ended up getting a bunch of clients through playing hockey.
Nice.
Doing all this. So I just looked at it like, hey, listen, it's like $250 for the summer. I'd rather just pay this rather than ask everyone for $2 or $3, every time we come out until I get paid back. I just look at it like it's a way to give back to everybody, all the great people I've met, and having had the opportunity, to really benefit. And I'm hoping that myself and a few other dedicated folks can step up as we move along, help out the rink down there, and potentially help out hockey in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's Gary and I have seen that firsthand too, and Jason, I'm sure you feel the same way. It's that hockey, it seems to be a little fraternity or sorority for some reason, where people in America usually treat it like maybe a third, fourth sport, whatever the case is. It's obviously the NFL, NBA, and MLB, even NASCAR to a certain extent, or like we said, soccer too has made big inroads in this country. But for example, how we came up with our own league was for that reason. There aren't many rinks around here, and the few that are, it's hard to get playing time, whatever the case is. And yeah, there's plenty of basketball courts and stuff. And I remember growing up, we were chased off of the basketball courts because we didn't have a place to play hockey on. So like Jason, is that one of the reasons why you looked for MOFO itself, or did you kind of know it in the neighborhood and joined it that way, or just out of frustration?
No, if I tell you, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and we were always like hockey nerds. He's a Flyers fan, I'm a Rangers fan, and so it's amazing how we stayed friends.
Yeah, really.
And we were talking about it one time. We were just kind of like randomly IMing one day, like, I wonder if there's like a hockey league somewhere we could play in or whatever. Like, I don't think like this. All right, let's check. We started Googling it, and it kind of popped up, and I'm like, this looks kind of cool, dude. Let's do it. And he was all kind of tentative. I was like, you know what, whatever. Come on, let's do it. So we did it. We went down there, and now we're having a scrimmage, or I don't even know. And then, before I knew it, I was on a team with Rob, and that was it. But I don't even know that I sorted out MOFO specifically. It was, I wanted to play hockey. I thought it would be really, really, really cool if I could play hockey. And MOFO, even then, even though it was half the size it is now, was definitely pretty prominent. And I was like, and I started sending emails, and they're like, and I'm like, are there like boards and stuff? And they're like, yeah. And I freaked out. I thought it was the neatest thing ever. And then here I am, still playing hockey and begging my wife to be able to go play the game instead of putting my kid down for a nap. So She's probably losing her patience with me right now because I think I got to eat dinner. But
we'll wrap up soon. So yeah, we'll for your sake.
Yeah. So, but in any case, yes, no, that's how I found it. And it was really, and it was just, I wanted to do it. And then I didn't even know from a composite stick to an abs blade to a wood stick or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
I think I almost fell over running the first time I did it because I hadn't ran in like 10 years or something like that. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, Rob will probably vouch for that last part.
I actually I played softball for the first time in many years. Labor Day, I think, Labor Day weekend, and I the first time I had an at bat, I hit the ball and I fell down running to first base. So I can sympathize.
Yeah, dude, hitting 30 is a weird thing, man. It does things to your body. Hitting 35 is an even weirder thing.
Yeah.
So I do yoga now solely so I don't get injured in this league. It works, by the way.
Nice.
So, and my wife mocks me and laughs at me because I used to be so skeptical about it. But yeah, touching your toes saves my butt.
There you go. Great.
So all my dogs bark, and but yeah, that's my story.
All right.
Excellent. So yeah, as Rob touched on before, what are the league fees in MOFO, and is it something that's, again, depending on how many guys or girls you have on a roster, or is it just by team?
Well, they charge by team, and the team fee depends on the length of the season.
Okay.
So when they had a 10-game season versus a 20-game season, it was drastically different. This most recent season was the 20-game season. We paid about $2,400 for the team.
Okay.
Now we've had 20-plus guys on the roster, but one of the things we also were fortunate enough to have is a local bar called Fish Market.
Mm-hmm.
You're the man, Rob. That's right.
Sponsor us.
This is a plug.
And Jeff Lim, the owner, and his mom are the most fantastic people you'll ever find. We have the best time there. They really take good care of us. His mom cooks some great food. They're really close to the rink. They're just down in the Seaport, just a little 5-minute stroll from the rink down there. Low-key, lots of fun, super supportive of hockey, supportive of not just our team, but the league in general. Any team that goes there and hangs out, has a good time, spends some money, he'll support you.
Yeah, he'll take care of you. And it's great.
Really,
it's
a great guy, and we're very fortunate. We actually have our shirts that have his bar name on our shirts as well as our cool logo designed by one of our teammates, Joseph Weisgold. Great designer. If you need his help with anything, check him out. Sorry, this is the shill part of the show.
No, that's okay.
I plug everybody, but it's he's awesome. He'll wear our shirts around his bar. That's how much he likes us and how much of a good time we have there. But it's not just us. There's a bunch of other teams, and it's really cool to go there after a game, play it against the other team, win or lose, just go there, have beers, good food, free shots of Jameson.
Oh, boy.
This is very
Go
All right.
go crazy. It is really the best, and that's one of the reasons I really liked playing and sticking around, not just for great hockey, but just to have a good time afterwards.
All right, you heard it here first. If you're in Lower Manhattan and you're looking for a drink, go to the Fish Market. They'll treat you right.
Anything you wanted to add on to that, Jason, or is that?
I mean, pretty much it. The only thing I'll say is I was there one time. My wife and her friend finally came there one time, I think, and because I was like going on about it. She's like, what do you guys do there? And then she finally came there one time, and whatever. She met Jeff, she met Mom, and she's like, afterwards we're talking. She's like, yeah, I get it. She's like, I get why you guys love that thing. Yeah, so it's one of those it's one of those bars where anything and everything could kind of all in good fun can happen. So definitely, yeah, we wouldn't even consider going anywhere else. That place rules.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
So just the last question for the night. As you guys touched on before, Jason and Rob, that the rink was already there. I was just curious, was it MOFO kind of took over the rink there, or is it just something that you need city permits for? And like you said, you have to share it with other leagues and that bike polo thingy.
Yeah, the rink is open to the public, so even the locals will just have their kids run around and play on it when it's not being used. As far as hockey and everything, yeah, most of the time now, because of the demand and the popularity, there is a lot of permit play, and to go down there and have a game, highly likely, especially on the weekends, you'll need to have a permit because the permit holders have priority. over if you just try and walk in and start playing and having a game.
Sure.
But, it is open. It's not a locked facility where they unlock it only when you show up with your permit kind of thing. It's open. Anyone can go out. You want to practice, want to play, just have to cede the course to when the permit games show up like we do almost all day from Saturday from about 10 to 6 during the summer. It's fully used. So.
This may be a silly question, but do the nets live in the rink, or does somebody have to bring nets?
The nets, different leagues have their own set of nets, and they take them off the rink and lock them up. So that's the other thing. If you're just looking to go down there and just sort of shoot around and play, there wouldn't be any nets just sitting on the rink. They're all locked up and, for use because they're bought by the rink. The city doesn't provide the nets.
Okay.
One of the little quirky things about there that, unfortunately. Yeah. I think if they just left random nets there, unfortunately, it probably wouldn't be there much long.
I wonder what the bike polo people use.
They had some of their own sort of makeshift, kind of like a small soccer goal type thing. I don't think they use the hockey goals.
Interesting.
They had something else because with their riding their bikes to it and stuff, I think they look for something a little different. But
sure.
It was. I've not been fortunate enough to actually watch one of those matches. I think they played quite early. Mostly they played on Sundays or something because I know they don't play on because we're fully permitted on Saturday. I think they have something Sunday morning occasionally, and not regulars down there.
Mm-hmm.
But one of these days, I'll be up early enough and down there to see them. I'm sure one of these days.
You got us curious too. Maybe we'll join you.
I assume that's BYOB. Bring your own bike.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and hopefully bring your own booze because I'm going to be needing some of.
Don't drink and drive when you're playing bike polo.
It's a contained environment. I'm not on the road.
So just to wrap things up, guys, and again, we appreciate you taking the time out to join us tonight. Gary and I also appreciate MOFO's emphasis on being a fun, violence-free league. It's really a great league made up of like-minded deck hockey-loving people, friendly guys and girls of all ages and talent level, which I hope that Jason and Rob portrayed that and shared that with you out there if you're looking to join the league or just curious about it. It's really hockey competition on its best behavior, I like to put it. So, Jason and Rob, if you wouldn't mind, tell our listeners the ways to contact MOFO or find out more about the league through the website, Facebook, and Twitter, and so on, please.
Yeah, the best way to contact the league would be to go to the website, mofohockey.org. And on the website, there is a tab where you can click to register. You can sign up as a free agent, but also there's all the information you need to know about the league, waiver form, registration, everything like that, just to sign up, said you read all the rules and you're going to obey the rules kind of thing. And that,
right.
And just to clarify, MOFO is MOFO.
Yes.
Yep, mofohockey.org. We'll get you there. We'll get you all the details. Hector, the league manager, will keep you posted. You can sign up for the league's Twitter feed, Facebook, and everything like that. And he always sends out messages for free agent scrimmages or passes around to the captains, names of folks that are looking to join a team, keeps us posted of the new talent that's out there looking to come in and have a good time.
So, yeah, like Jason, you said you just did a Google search for it and came across it. So
that's it. I Google searched, I think, deck hockey or street hockey in New York or something, and I found it. So, yeah, you just go to the website. It's easy peasy. Like, whenever anybody's curious, that's what I do. And then, from there, you can do it. And they'll usually have you sign, like, a whole piece of paper. But, yeah.
Do you need to have your own team, or can you join as a team as a free agent?
Both, either one.
Yeah, free agent, there's no problem. There's a whole list of it. Goalie, play out. We're always looking for goalies. Never enough of those, it seems like.
Sure.
Because like you said, you don't want to wear the pads all the time in the 100-degree heat, but
don't want to.
We love you for it. Yeah. And or hey, if you have a group of guys that you play with all the time as a team, get on there and let Hector know and bring you down and let you at least this winter we'll be happy to scrimmage against you. I know our teams, but we were always looking to play different groups. We had a bunch of guys up from in Westchester come down and play.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so a little away game roadie for them. That was a fun thing a bunch of months ago.
Nice.
That we did.
Excellent. All right, boys, thank you so much. We really appreciate the time and very informative. and hope to see you out there soon. And good luck with your seasons as well. So thanks for joining us.
And go to the fish market.
Having us.
Yeah, right.
Let's go Rangers.
Yes,
That's right.
Have a good one,
Take
guys.
care, boys.
Thanks, guys. And thank you again. It's been said many times, but thank you one last time to Jason and Rob from MOFO for coming on Hit the Deck and just hanging out with us and telling us a bit about their team Top Shelf and the league in general. And fish market. Drink there. I don't drink personally, but if I did, I would totally drink at the fish market. Anyway, something that I think has driven some people to drink is the latest announcement out of the NHL. In case you were living under a rock and missed it, the NHL finally announced the newest franchise that will be hitting the league in 2017. That's not this season, obviously, because we're already playing this season. That is next season. And so we're going to talk about what team you can look forward to taking one of your players from your favorite team. James?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. The expansion draft. That brings up some really bad memories for us Ranger fans, too. We love Mike Richter, and I think everybody knows that on this podcast by now. But we lost the Rangers, we lost John Van Beesbroek with the expansion draft of the Florida Panthers way back when. So, hopefully we don't lose any other blue chippers, but it kind of worked out for the best for both players in the long run. But like you said, it is official. The Vegas Golden Knights. That is the team in Las Vegas. It's Vegas. It's not Las Vegas Golden Knights. It's just Vegas Golden Knights, by the way.
Now, lots of people have criticized the name, the Golden Knights, which I also think is a little silly, truth be told. The consensus seems to be eventually they will just be the Vegas Knights, and I'm okay with that. I know our very own Brad suggested that the franchise should have been the Vegas Desert Knights, which I think would have been a cool name, but they are not. They are the Golden Knights. For whatever reason, I guess they decided that gold was associated with maybe slots. And
I do have an answer for that, but go ahead. That's
okay.
Good,
all right.
That's a good.
Well, then enough conjecture on my part. What's the official ruling?
I liked your idea better, actually, than the truth, but I don't know if they thought about it that much. As a matter of fact, I think Desert Knights was one of the possibilities, too. So they ended up going with Golden. The reason being is that the owner, Bill Foley, is a graduate of the U.S. Army in West Point. So the whole idea with the whole Golden Knights and the colors and the logo is all paying homage to the U.S. Army's athletic teams that compete against other colleges and such, which are known as the Black Knights. And that's where the colors came from, the black and gold. That's where the helmet logo came from, and the alternate logo with the swords and the name Knights and the color being before it. So it's all the Army intertwined with it, just being borrowed and used to the new Vegas franchise because Bill Foley wanted to definitely incorporate that too. But I agree with you. I like the Knights. I mean, we're both Batman fans, so how can you not like Dark Knights and such and so on?
They probably couldn't get the rights to the Arkham Knights or the Gotham Knights.
Oh, that would have been too cool. Man. But
by the way, Arkham Knight, very good game.
Oh, cool. Got to check that out.
Yeah.
So
here's an interesting tidbit, just to completely derail the conversation for a second. I don't remember if I told you this, but I read somewhere that the developers of Arkham Knight, I guess Rocksteady, they said that it's on like the current generation consoles, PS1 or PS4 and Xbox One rather. They said that the data required for the Batmobile in Arkham Knight, just the Batmobile would have taken up an entire Xbox 360 disc.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So that's pretty, interesting.
I'd say so. I'm impressed. So, all right, we got a really great Batmobile to look forward to. Anyhow, so getting
the Golden
back to
Knights. Yes. Well, thank you for that explanation. The only other thing I could have come up with is that prostitution is legal in Las Vegas and some people are into some kinky stuff. But I like your explanation better.
Well, good, because at least according to research, that's the truth. So anyway.
Although, on a related note, one complaint I have heard about the logo is that it resembles a prophylactic.
Oh, man. I was actually doing research to go into this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Did first notice that, and I thought of Mike Margiotta, our own other goalie in the LIQ extraordinaire, that he's a big Kings fan, for people that don't know that out there.
Yes.
But I did notice in the new Golden Knights logo that they have the crest in the background, the same exact shape as the Kings crest that they use now. But the Army Black Knights had that shield and crest first. So before anybody accuses the Golden Knights of stealing the Kings logo, it's really they're borrowing the Army Black Knights again, that shield.
What you're saying is they're both thieves.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I wouldn't mess with the Army, but that's just me. So anyhow.
I meant the Kings and the Knights
exactly.
are both stealing from the Army. So I will say that while I personally did not make that comparison to the logo, I actually liked it because I particularly liked the V built into the visor for Vegas. So, that was my initial impression. I thought, okay, well, at least there's something cool about it. But, of course, people will always find stuff to complain about. So, your mileage may vary. Let us know, contact us, email us, tweet at us at Hit the Deck Pod, or leave a comment on our Facebook page, Hit the Deck on Facebook. And tell us, what do you think of the Vegas Golden Knights? What do you think of the new logo? Is it silly or awesome or somewhere in between?
Yeah, I'd definitely love to hear that too. I like it. I think it's cool looking. I really love the colors, and for me, it's all about the jersey. So I'm really curious to see what the jersey is going to look like. I want to see what the home dark jersey is going to be and the away light jersey too. So I think they're on the right track at least. I agree. I'm not thrilled with the golden name in front of it, but overall, I think it's cool, and I think a lot of people will be buying the shirts and caps and jerseys and things, even if you aren't a Vegas fan.
Yeah, based on what you've described as being the inspiration, I'm guessing it's going to be like a black jersey with gold trim and like a gold logo. And I'm, that's fine. What I'm concerned about is I fear there's going to be a third jersey that's mostly gold, and I think that's probably going to look hideous.
You're probably right. That seems to be the case with the third alternate jerseys for some reason. At least it's not half as bad as the NFL. I don't know what they're doing on Thursday Night Football, where they have the two teams playing in just one color, and it's not even the real primary color of the team. For example, I'm a Jets fan, so last year the Jets played the Bills on a Thursday night game, and the Jets' colors are green and white. So
right.
I'm sorry to talk about another sport, but
how dare you, sir?
Yeah, but so this is the genius of the NFL, that the Jets were just in an all green jersey from helmet to, well, I think that the helmet was still white, but basically from head to toe, and it wasn't even the right shade of green. It was more like a neon green, and then the Bills were in red. So it would have been cool around Christmas time, but the complaints with that, with alternate jerseys and such, is that colorblind people couldn't follow the game. They didn't know which team was which.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this.
So I hope the NHL doesn't fall for that trap too and heed the American Rhinos' words. Don't go for an ugly third jersey, the Las Vegas team.
Well, if there's anything that the NHL should have learned after the Devils' reign of terror, is that the last thing we need in hockey is the trap. So, don't fall for it. Don't do it. Listen to James.
And the American Rhino.
Yeah, him too.
All right, so now that we got that out of the way, Mr. American Rhino,
yes, sir.
What do we play for? Why do we play deck hockey?
A question I've asked myself many, many times.
We did touch upon this a little bit back in Hit the Deck 5 about dealing with winning and losing deck games.
Yeah.
But as we said before, we went through a very long stretch of not playing because of weather. And that was really frustrating, too, because as you've heard in Hit the Decks past, we were practicing for the Hockey at Rockies tournament.
Yeah.
Which got rained out. We don't even know if it happened or not, but
no.
The LIQ wasn't able to participate, and even our friends from Brooklyn didn't even show up for the tournament as well because, let's just say, the communication wasn't great on their end. So instead of braving the weather and then having to go back with nothing to play for, just figured let's just play it safe. So we didn't play at all, LIQ or Rockies tournament, for 2 solid months.
Right.
And then, lo and behold, we finally got back out there the first weekend of November, and then again the weekend after that. And then I wasn't able to participate last weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, but the LIQ did get back out there to play. So obviously we were all very rusty in the November 5th games, and we usually play 3 games apiece at a given time for a series.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I mean, as rusty as everybody was, I was like the Tin Man when they found him in the beginning of the book or the movie, The Wizard of Oz. Just really horrible and embarrassingly bad. So I just want to apologize to you for the record and my teammates as well. But once we got our wheels under us again and got back in the groove, we came back the weekend after that, I believe, and the games were much better. I know I played better, which was really not saying much because you couldn't play much worse than I did in Hit the Deck, in the November 5th game. So it was a bit of an improvement, and the level of play was really very tight. It could have gone either way for either games, and 1 goal differences, I believe, for all 3 of them. Now, the long-winded explanation about that is on the November 5th games, like I said, I played so horribly and let down Gary for one and our other teammates and didn't even do anything to help score goals or set up plays or anything like that. It was just, I should have been benched.
Well, you play defense, so your primary objective isn't to score goals. It's to make sure that the other team doesn't score goals. So
okay, right. And also to try and at least feed our offensive guys and give them a chance.
The point is you play high, so you're not you're not a playmaker. You're just
I'm there. So let's just say that. And we did win game 1, and then the next 2 games we did not win. And, Gary and I really take losses very personally and seriously, even though it's deck hockey and we're all friends and all that stuff. But what are we really playing for? Are we playing for the love of hockey in some way through deck? Or are we playing to win? Or had that question popping up in our heads afterwards, and just curious what's going through your mind, or what was going through your mind at the time too.
Well, I mean, we're weekend warriors, obviously. We do this. I have to think we do this for fun, because why else would we do it? We're not getting paid for it. But there's pride. There's a lot of pride there too, and obviously, you're competitive. At least the way we play, we often. We pretty much play pickup games with our friends. So, it's a friendly game, but it's still a very competitive game. You wanna win, and I gotta be honest with you, James. Not just that day, but the last few times we've played, I'm really starting to wonder if it might be time to take off the pads.
No,
I mean it. I lost like you said, the November 5th games. I lost 2 games, and then I lost the next 3 games the following week. So 5 in a row. This past time we played, this past weekend, I eked out a win in the first game against a goalie in Mike who hasn't played in. He hasn't been in goal in about 5 months, and he gave up 1 more goal than I did, and then we got an empty netter, and then I got embarrassed 7-3 in the next 2 games. I got blown out, and I wear, as it is, I wear knee braces on both knees, and I still managed to tweak one of my knees in the first game. And I just have to wonder, if I can do this anymore, if I'm becoming a liability to my team because, I do play for fun, but by the same token, I owe it to my team to give them the best chance to win every single game. And it's killing me that I'm not stopping the puck when I'm supposed to. And it's not fair to them for me to not be stopping the puck because that's my job.
Again, one of the things that we love about you is your fire and your determination. But one of the things of being a goalie is that you do take it too seriously and personally if we do lose. But like we've tried to say in the past, is at least speaking from a defensive point of view, anytime a shot is taken on a goalie, that means the defense broke down. Now, is that being unrealistic? To a certain extent, yes. But your primary function as a defenseman is to make sure that the goalie has nothing to worry about at all, that it's a soft shot or something easy. You never want to give up any kind of legitimate scoring chance. Plus, it should be said that at least for the November 5th games, the other team we played against was pretty darn good and made up of guys like Brad, Brett, Carlos, Mike, and Craig in goal, who made many, many, many fine saves that day, by the way. So it's nothing to be ashamed of when you're outplayed by such good players and good people, too, not to mention. But I'm really brokenhearted to hear this. I want you to get these thoughts out of your head, man, because say it ain't so, Joe. But we all go through slumps, and I think not playing consistently catches up with you either immediately or in the long run. So in this case, I know personally for me, just battling through this sinus infection and things, which I usually get sick that way, just whatever reason. I won't bore people for that. But you're not running around as much as you should. You're not exercising as much as you should and things of that nature. Plus, when it gets colder, you're stuck inside more. And it's just the nature of where we live in this part of the world. So, yeah, you have a lot of things going against you, unfortunately, with knees and things, but we admire your tenacity and your gamesmanship, and you're always prepared. I mean, you're paying attention. It's not like you're lollygagging out there or you're not playing hard or anything like that. So hopefully it's just maybe a slump. I know personally for me, I need to practice. That's just where it all boils down to. I have to start stick handling again and just shooting and doing whatever. For a future podcast, as a matter of fact, topic, want to see if I could fix my shot, because a lot of times, and November 5th was a perfect example of that, where I didn't do anything to help my team win, but I did help it lose. So I definitely take full responsibility for our losing streak as well, is that if you're a defenseman, you at least have to, sure, if you're going to play the blue line, you have to have a good shot and you have to have an accurate shot. For two reasons. One, hopefully you try and score. And two, you're keeping the puck in your zone and at minimum helping your teammates maybe get a rebound shot or whatever the case is. So when our goalie, you usually being our goalie, doesn't have a chance to catch his breath, if the puck is constantly in our zone, and if we're being run around too much, or if we're just facing great players like Brad and Brett all the time, unfortunately one team has to lose. And when we're playing against those guys, it's usually us. But I hope you just get to regroup and come back strong and get out of that little slump. But don't take it personally, and don't think that it's you by any means. Well,
look, I appreciate that. And I apologize to you, the listener, because I know I've been pretty heavy-handed the last couple of shows, and I know that's not what you've come to expect on this podcast and what you're used to. You come here, I would assume, to be entertained, but I've just been feeling stuff pretty raw lately. You know, my emotions have been pretty close to the surface lately, and it's coming out. So yeah, no. And James, I like I said, I appreciate what you're saying, but you on defense, you have a lot of ground to cover, and you're only one of many people who have to cover many people. My job is to patrol a a area of 4 by 6 feet. Okay, that it's a small area, and I stay there, and I have to make sure the puck doesn't get past me, and that's my only job. And if the puck does get past me, then I have failed. And it doesn't matter if I'm in there with 2 broken legs against Wayne Gretzky. If the puck gets past me, I have failed in my job. My job is to stop the puck. My job is not to try my best. It's not to say, they beat me with a great shot, got to tip my cap to them. And it's definitely not to blame my defense. It is a binary, either I stop it or I don't. And if I don't, then I have let down my team, and it is my fault that I have not put my team in its best possible chance to win. And that's, I've faced some good players. The last time we played, I had Brad and Joe, and who's their other player? Ron. Brad and Joe are great, but Ron hasn't played in a year. And their goalie was Mike, who, like I said, he hasn't played goal in 5 months. And, I didn't have I didn't have the Zamboni driver on my team. I had Rob and Igor, who were both great playmakers, great shots, and John, who he's a solid player. So Mike didn't give up 7 goals. I gave up 7 goals in consecutive games. I feel like I have no excuse anymore, and how many bad games before it's my fault? I'm not trying to throw myself a pity party here. I feel like you asked why we play. I play because, I want to be the guy who carries my team to victory. I want to be that last line of defense. And if I can't be that anymore, then I feel like I don't belong there. I don't belong in the crease. And that's it.
Yeah, I respectfully disagree. And again, I understand what you're talking about, and that's the mentality you need to have as a goalie. But we win as a team and we lose as a team. And bottom line, if we scored 8 goals, we would have won. You just need 1 more goal in the other team, because we do play timed periods and things. We don't just play till 7 first or whatever the case is.
Actually,
those games
that last game I played probably should have been 8 or 9 goals. Frankly, Brad, I gave up a rebound, and Brad had the puck all alone, and I was down, and he probably just, in a show of good sportsmanship, instead of trying to go around me and put a puck in, he cleared it back to his own zone to run out the clock.
Well, another point too, which people may not realize, is usually when we play, there's sun is in your face. And yeah, I mean, we wear black jerseys for whatever that's worth. And obviously the goalie has all the gear on and stuff. So even if it's hot, I mean, if it's cool outside, the goalie's always sweating a lot more and having the sun beating on you. The other thing too you have to worry about are shadows, which may sound strange to the outside person listening who doesn't play deck hockey. But as a defenseman and being an older guy, it's kind of hard for me to pick up things when there's a lot of shadows and such, especially if there's a long shot coming at you. So just keep that in mind too. You're the type of guy that just automatically goes for the hardest road to play through. So any little advantage like that, you don't even give yourself. And I don't even think you realize that. If you're setting up on the side where 2 times the team has the sun to their backs and you're staring into the sun and you're dealing with all these shadows and things like that, that does catch up with you. So just keep that in mind too. It's not a controlled environment, so it's not the same on both sides. And that does come back to bite you in the butt once or twice. And I'm not making an excuse there either, but that's the whole point why we brought up what do we play for, because yeah, we love deck hockey. We enjoy it. It's fun and this, that, and the other thing. But if you don't win, it's kind of a catch-22 because you're not happy. And anything you compete in, no matter what, if it's the least bit competitive, the aim is to play well and to win. It doesn't matter if it's a game of solitaire or whatever. You don't want to lose. So just keep that in mind. Maybe if you're in a little slump or if it's just in the back of your head, just think about that if we need to get you back on track and get your confidence back or whatever the case is, then go to the other goal for 2 games for the 2 periods, and see how that goes. So, or if you just, like you said, you want to take a break from playing goal and you want to play defense, which you're a great defenseman too, by the way. And I could vouch for you having a very heavy shot being bruised up by trying to block it.
Sorry.
So, hey, nobody needs to apologize because I'm the fool that tries to jump in the way. So it's my own responsibility and fault for that.
I was going to say in my defense, but really it's not any kind of defense. But the simple fact of the matter is I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm even in goal, stick handling is by far my biggest weakness. So, just if all I'm doing is stick handling, I have no idea where my shot is going. I'm just,
That makes 2 of us. I don't know where my shot goes either. So I just kind of close my eyes and hope for the best. But that's for a future podcast. So anyway, listen, that's what we just wanted to air this out. And anybody listening out there, if you've gone through a slump, especially if you're a goalie, please help out my right-hand man, the American Rhino, and cheer him up and get him back out there and confident. And a couple of wins will change all that in a heartbeat. So that's just the thing.
All right.
No matter what you're doing, if you're competing in any level, the goal is to win, but it's still, you got to deal with it. And like we said, if we lose, like for the second weekend that we played for the November 12th games, there were 3 really tight games and very evenly matched, back and forth, really tight. And yeah, we lost those games, but I didn't feel horrible about it because I thought we played well. I thought that we could have, or at least we had chances to win. But, Craig was great in goal, as he usually is. And sometimes you just, like we said, one team has to win and one team has to lose. So if you can make it an even matchup and you played your guts out and nobody cheated or nothing goofy happened or fluky, I can live with that. At least I have to rationalize that anyway. I'm used to losing, so it's kind of a thing that I got to rationalize with. But
just to give you kind of a microcosm of the entire experience, the last game we played, I think the second to last goal that got scored, I think it was Joe that had taken a shot, and the puck, I stopped it, and I thought it was between my pads, so I squeezed my pads and I fell over and I wound up face down in the net, and I thought I had it until I heard a ping and felt it fall down onto the back of my mask.
Oh man!
So I mean that just sums up this whole thing. I thought I had it, but I really didn't.
Well, to make you feel better, and this is the truth, I mean, even Henrik Lundqvist has to be pulled every now and again. It's just sometimes you don't have it, or sometimes you do have it and you just get outplayed by the other team, or sometimes you have it and your team doesn't score for you. So that's something to keep in mind. But we have full confidence in you. I have full confidence in you, and I understand where you're coming from, and I hear you loud and clear. But we love you. You're a great man. You're a great goalie. So you'll be just fine. You'll bounce back, and all we need to do is step up our game and give you a better chance to do your job better.
Yeah, right.
Or at least help you.
And just since I forgot to mention him, and I don't want to slight anybody, I would be remiss if I were not to mention that for the first couple games this weekend, Brad's team also, or I should say Mike's team, since he was the goalie, and got to give him the respect, had a new player, Al, who came out. So him too. So sorry, Al. I forgot. I was too busy feeling sorry for myself. I forgot to mention you.
And please, everybody out there, send the love to Mr. Gary Maxer and come out and root for him too next time we play. Okay?
yeah. I need my own cheering squad. That's all right. Anyway, enough of my whining. Let's just wrap this thing up.
Last minute remaining in the podcast.
And we would, of course, like to thank you, the listener, for sitting through another Hit the Deck podcast. I hope I didn't bring you down too much. I hope you did get some enjoyment out of it. Thank you one more time to Jason and Rob for coming on and being part of our little shindig here. Thank you, of course, to Anthony Sajazi for music. Thank you to Pops for being the voice of the podcast. The LIQ for sound effects. I would encourage you to contact us. Please give us any of your thoughts at hitthedeck@gmail.com or tweet at us at hitthedeckpod. Thank you for subscribing to those of you who have. And if you have not, please consider doing so on iTunes or Stitcher or any number of other places where podcasts are distributed. I haven't mentioned this in a while, and I will do so now. Stitcher has its own app in the iOS App Store. So if you would like to listen, I believe it's also on Android. So if you would like to listen that way, Stitcher has a whole bunch of quality podcasts, not just this one. So please feel free to download that for your listening enjoyment. I could mention Instagram and Facebook and all those other stuff, but honestly, you're probably tired of hearing about it. James, anything to add?
Just one more thing for the fans to check out is check out MOFO. We have links on our Facebook page and aforementioned Facebook page and Twitter page too. It's a great league. If you're looking to join a league, I highly recommend it. Gary and I highly recommend that. And we also highly recommend the LIQ. So Brad has done a great job with the website there. So go check that out. If you want to come out and join, you're more than welcome to. And we love you, Mr. Gary Mack, sir. So catch you on the next episode.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, James. Thanks for picking me up there. And finally, just a brief reminder, if you do find yourself in a pitiable situation like myself and you're feeling sorry for yourself, I'd encourage you to remember, it's deck hockey. Don't be that guy. Thanks, everybody. I can't think anymore. My words have left me. Is this what turning 36 does to you?
It just keeps getting worse. I've lost many a brain cell over the last few years.
Sad, really.